welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Real Estate with Trevor and
Brett. Hey guys, I'm here. What's up? What's going on? And we're here to talk about this wild thing we call real estate, obviously, and what's happening here in our market here in Michigan. Yep. People want to know what's going on in the market. Are the prices dropping? Is the housing crash happening? And all the things. Like, what is really happening in the Metro Detroit area? That's what we service, and a little bit of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
A little far.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what question do we have today? Are the real estate prices dropping in Michigan?
Hell no to the na. Hell no to the na.
You heard it here first. No.
Real estate is not dropping in the state of Michigan. There are different pockets in Michigan that have some type of shifts where more so in northern Michigan, maybe a little bit on the west side of the state, but in the Metro Detroit area, we're not seeing that much of a drop in inventory or sales.
Now we're going towards a more balanced market. As you guys know, COVID happened, and what happened? Interest rates dropped, buyers picked up, the sale of houses and the price that they were going for was astronomical in a lot of places. So what has
resetting markets too.
Exactly. So what has happened since then is we were shooting up, and now you may think that it's coming down, but it's becoming more balanced and more level on the sale and buyer side. Has it gotten into 100% buyer's market? Not yet.
No.
But
for context, a buyer's market is about 5 to 6 months of inventory, and inventory means that we could stop listing houses today and we would be able to service the consumers for 5 months worth, 5 to 6 months worth, without having to list new houses. So we have fresh inventory every day, go on the market. Right now we're about, in January for context, we're up 2.2 months of inventory or supply for Metro Detroit area. Now we're pushing about 3 months of supply. So obviously we're still more so in the sell side for a balanced market, or for a seller's market versus a buyer's market, but we are ticking up to a more balanced market. But it is starting to trickle back up for inventory.
Yeah, and so the sale of houses is a lot slower. The average days on market right now is about 47 days. Whereas you saw in history, like in 2020 through about 2022, maybe 23 a little bit, houses were flying off the shelves, like 3 days, 5 days, 7. I think the average sale was like 7 days on market back then, and now it's 47. So there's a difference in how it's becoming more balanced. Houses are still selling, and that's when you have to price competitively sellers, because it is slowing down. It is taking a lot longer to sell. Kind of make sure you do the price right, because what are we seeing more often than not? People decreasing their prices time and time again.
Right, and I think we've gotten to a point where, especially in like listing presentations, when we talk to sellers, we give them our best recommended price, and and this happened pushing the envelope essentially since COVID, is like we basically reset the market every time. Like we would list it at X, and then we would always get above listing price, which is still the case in some areas of Michigan, but we are now more so seeing that houses will sit if they're not priced accordingly, and we have a lot of external factors, interest rates, the jobs market, and all these different variables, housing supply. And so just ultimately, when you're listing the house, I just say take what our number is and list it 3 to 5% under what our listing recommendation is, and you'll have multiple offers, and you can probably get the number in your mind that you think you want.
So he was saying, making sure you're pricing it right. And what we're seeing, don't get alarmed, sellers, because the prices are still rising.
Yes.
They're just rising slower than what we've seen in the past 5 years. So don't get alarmed. Houses are still going for very good dollar amounts, and the appreciation is still there year over year. We've seen nothing but increases. So don't be alarmed that, I can't get my house for what now you might not get $40,000 over asking,
No.
which is what we were seeing in 20 and 21, but you would still get the value just because of the appreciation that's happened over the last 5 years or 10 years, depending on how long you've been in your house. So it's there. Another key indicator about housing in Michigan, interest rates are a huge factor. So it impacts the affordability, making some buyers more cautious about what they want. So, a lot of buyers are regretting not buying 5 years ago. But again, buying 5 years ago may have put you at a good interest rate, but you might have paid $40,000 over what the house was worth too. And then when you go into, I'm gonna wait until the interest rates, which we hear that every single day. I'm gonna wait till the interest rates drop. Wait till the interest rates drop, and the house that you would think you were to buy this year will be $20,000 or $30,000 or $40,000 more next year. So don't wait to buy real estate.
Don't wait.
Buy real
Don't
estate
wait.
and wait. 100%.
I think that's such a interesting psychological thought process. You want to buy a house and you work so hard to save up to be able to have the down payment to be able to buy the house, but then at the end of the day you want to wait. And when you look at it from the interest rate perspective, if you wait and say the interest rate goes up a whole point, and that changes your monthly payment for the following year, and then the house also becomes more expensive to buy, and then you're looking at a higher interest rate
and a higher monthly
payment. So for perspective, I pay $17.23 a month, and that was my principal, interest, and tax.
And how much you pay for your house, Trevor?
$215. And if I bought, and going back to the houses I have sold, the people that have 3% interest rates, their monthly payment is pennies comparatively to what I paid, and we're talking eerily similar price points. And the reason I didn't buy is because I am a self-employed individual and I need to show
proof of income.
So unfortunately, I would have bought years ago, but being a self-employed individual, I had to wait. Now I'm in my situation because I'm a self-employed individual. I'm trying to help and serve my clientele to help buy houses and get you in the right. We're both trying to get you into your next home or your first home or your perfect home. But going back to that point is the longer you wait, isn't that always if you're just waiting on the interest rate to drop, your cost benefit analysis, call it, isn't necessarily always there. So I have friends that have a monthly payment of $800 a month, which is unheard of to think about, and I'm paying almost $1,700 a month, or over $1,700 a month. So take those couple factors and nuggets into consideration when you come back to the talking point is, I want to wait, I want to see interest rates drop. So there's always the math that helps you get to the numbers that makes it make sense now.
So what are these key factors? Pricing, inventory, sales are slowing, high interest rates, and then regional differences, obviously, Metro Detroit versus up north. There were a lot of sales of more vacation homes too because of the interest rates. So prices are, again, balancing out. It's taking a little bit longer to sell. So what does that mean for both buyers and sellers? Well, for buyers, the market, again, is becoming more balanced. So that is great for a said buyer, offering opportunities and less intense competition. If you were in the buying pool in 2020, hey, you put in a lot of offers. You lost a lot of deals. So that stuff happened in 2020. Now you don't have to worry. Now it may be, depending on where you're buying, you may get a little bit of competition, but it's not as intense. And we as realtors can think of competitive ways to help write your offers so that you can win it in a competitive market. Because I do still think it's a little bit competitive, but just not as crazy as 30 offers on one house. It may be 1 or 4 on one said house, depending on pricing, obviously. And again, that goes back to you sellers. Pricing makes a world of difference.
Yes.
Every single time.
Yes.
And then for sellers, the market is still going strong. So you don't have to worry. Everything is still going up. It's just going up a little bit slow. You know that little crank you get on a roller coaster? That's where it's at. We used to be where it was shooting and it was going super fast, on the way down the roller coaster. Now we're at the point where we're going up the roller coaster. It's happening a little bit slow. So that's it.
In COVID times, 2020, your appreciation was going up like this. Now your appreciation is still happening. It's just going a little bit slower, maybe a little bit less of a steep angle. So you're still getting appreciation, and that goes back to my other point that I just talked about. The longer you wait, the more things that add up to be a negative towards reasonings as to why you shouldn't wait. You should just figure it out now. You always get appreciation more often than not. Statistically speaking, you almost always have an appreciation outside of a couple thousand or financial small time periods of crises.
So to answer your question, are real estate sales dropping in Michigan?
Hell no. Ta-da-na-na-na. Hell no.
So you got your answer from Trevor and Britt, okay? So now, on to similar topics, we're gonna see, is there a housing crisis? People are waiting for the market to crash. They really are. It's so funny. Even my friends tell me, oh, the market's crashing. Well, you go ahead and wait.
Remember when everybody was saying during COVID that we were gonna have another 08?
Yes.
And
here we are, 2025.
It's been 5 years, people.
Let that dream die, along with the thought that you had 5 years ago. That is
the economics of why 08 happened are so drastically different than now. That was a literal lender and mortgage issue. Now it's just, we're not in anything right now, so it's like you can't even say anything as to why we would be or wouldn't be in a crisis outside of inventory.
Okay, so now Michigan is experiencing a severe housing shortage with needs. So can we say that there's a housing crisis? I wouldn't call it a crisis per se, but shortage
for sure.
Ranging from 75,000 to 140,000 homes, leading in high cost, low first-time home buyer activity, and difficult for low-income renters. So that's where we're looking at when Trevor was talking about the supply, having, that 6 month supply. Do we have it? No, we don't. I think we're sitting at what, three months of supply. So in all actuality, we would need 6 months. So, builders, hey, we're knocking on your door. What's happening?
So I've got a great stat for you. So we are current nationally, not just in Michigan, because obviously we've already talked about 75,000 to 140,000 of units in shortage in Michigan. But nationally, we're about 4.5 to 4.7 million homes that we're in a deficit. Basically, we need 4.7 new homes built to offset this housing shortage that we have nationally. At the end of the day, there is a national housing shortage. COVID slowed things down for builders to be able to build during that time frame, and then we had another major shortfall of homes built during the Great Recession. So all that's compiling. We have a lot of older homes in the market that are not as serviceable and habitable or that meet the end consumer's needs and wants. So coupling that plus needing new homes brought to the market, that's creating a shortage. 4.5, 4.7 million home deficit nationally. That is a staggering number.
That's
and
huge.
We are always getting more people wanting to buy and really less people are trying to sell.
Yeah.
A lot of boomers are staying longer in their homes as opposed to moving.
Even downsizing is costing more
yes.
than I have a client personally that wants to downsize, but it's going to cost her so much to downsize. Now, granted, I'm not knocking anybody that can downsize and afford to do it. Go right ahead. But the reality of it is she owns her home, but it's massive. It's so large. She can't, she's by herself now, and it's just too hard to maintain a huge house. So for those baby boomers that are older, especially those that have lost spouses and things of that nature, that comes into play as far as downsizing and needing to downsize. But then you talk about downsizing on 6% interest rate. Now, for those baby boomers, that's still technically low for them.
Yeah.
Because in their era, when they were first buying houses, interest rates were at, anywhere from 14 to 17%. So 6%, again, like we're going to keep telling you, that is still low. So for you guys who think that this high, been thinking about buying since 2020, and that's why you have no idea what you're talking about. Because historically, 6% is still a low interest rate.
40-year average is 7%. So we're still below.
Yes, 100%. So like I said, my client is like debating on, acquiring a new mortgage, but although the house will be smaller, more manageable, she's like, do I really want to move? How can I decide to keep this house? So, for us, it's not always being able or having to stick a sign in the yard or whatever the case may be. We want to talk to you about your options. Right. So it's not about, we got to sell your house, we want to sell it. We want to think about what are your different options. It's not always to sell. A lot of times, and sometimes when we have this conversation with said sellers, we lay out all the options, and option A to sell may not always be the answer. It may be to hold it for a few years, or it may even be to keep it and rent it. And then if you have a house that's paid off, obviously you can go and get another mortgage and be able to afford, and then also qualify said mortgage or said rental income towards your income for your new house. So those are options too to talk about. So if you have something like that in mind and you're thinking about renting, make sure you reach out to us. Leave it in the comments. If you want to rent, put your email in the comments, or if you want to look at, what your options are for other than selling, we can help you through that. Put your email in the comments and we'll reach out to you.
Another reason why we have where we're at shortage wise, because it's such a low first time home buyers are being able to afford to be able to buy, is during 08 there was a lot of private money lenders and borrowers that went in and scooped up all these like really cost effective houses at the time to buy, and now they're holding them basically strong holding them to have appreciation. So that's also a big factor as to why we have a housing shortage nationally, or specifically in Michigan for us. So, and then coupling that with our builder topic that we just talked about, we have rising building costs, and that is
everything's expensive.
Everything's expensive. You wonder why you're buying a house that's $500 a square foot. It's because of building costs. We have a major and massive labor shortage. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get into the details in a second on what the stats on that is, but you know, and it's not as easy to build. There's so many permitting issues, or not issues, but restrictions that you have to go through, and it benefits the builders go through the same permitting process as they will for a $900,000 house as they do for a $350 first-time home buyer house price point. And logically, they're gonna go through the same permitting process, be able to make way more money for the $900,000 house as they will for the $350,000 house. Mm-hmm. So that's also, where we're at for first-time home buyers being able to buy new construction, or at least getting more homes into the market to help the supply. And then when builders are only building that higher price point, you're slowly raising the inventory, but at a higher price point, which is making it more difficult for buyers to be able to get into that first-time home buyer price point, which continues to trickle up. I think it's like $467,000 is like the average first-time home buyer.
Oh yeah, I know, it's crazy. I was just talking about that yesterday, about how when I bought my first house, I was like 110, 120.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. Dang.
Yeah, I didn't look that much. Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah.
Don't be playing.
And then it sold. I sold it obviously, and then when it sold again last year from people who bought it from me, which is why you buy real estate and keep it. They sold it for $260,000. Almost threw up.
That's a lot of cheddar.
I sold it for $160 when I left. I bought it for $109 or $105. I sold it for $160, and they sold it for $260 after they bought it from me. So that's $100,000 in a matter of, I think it was only like 4 years. I sold it in 2020. No, I bought my house in 2020, so I sold it in 2021, and they sold it in 2024. So 3 years, $100,000, crazy. And they used it as an Airbnb.
You done screwed up.
Bro, I can't take Trevor serious today. He is hilarious. Make sure you follow him at Trevor_career. You know, oh yeah, that. He likes KW. I like KW too. So yeah, I just had my username.
So we talked about the aging housing market or supply, especially in Metro Detroit. We have a lot of 40s, 50s, and 60s built houses, and albeit those are very serviceable houses if they've been properly updated and maintained, but the ones that haven't been touched in years, isn't as a desirable or inhabitable house. So our supply is continuing to age out. I wanted to touch back on some of the labor shortages we have. 62% of our labor force is a participant of the trades. So 62% of our entire population is associated one way or another with the trades.
Oh, and just to put a small little caveat in there, if you guys are looking for a job, Home Depot is now offering trade for free, trade classes. So plumbing, electrical, all the things. They're offering that for free because there is a shortage of labor workers, out there looking construction, there's stuff that needs to be done, but there's not enough workers or licensed workers that are out there. So Home Depot has started this incentive now here in the state of Michigan. that they are giving people trade work and allowing them to get licensed through Home Depot. So just
I foresee tradespeople being able to fetch pretty hefty penny going forward. I mean, we have so many doctors that are gonna, getting XYZ for their incomes. I think the trades are the next people that are gonna cash in on being able to basically get whatever they want, and they're already at that point right now. There's such a deficit in the labor force because nobody wants to do the work, physical work. They just want to sit at a computer and type away.
Lazy asses.
Look at the analytics and everything like that. Tagging off of that, by 2032, we will need 5.25 million additional workers in the trades to be able to create the houses. Just overall in general for our entire populations, we're going to need 5.25 million more trades-based labor force. Think about that. That's insane.
Trade workers.
In less than 10 years.
Yeah. Trade workers, like you said, you reaching for high dollar, that is 100% the way to go. And I think that because that information is solely out there for everyone to see, which is why Home Depot decided to start that initiative, because it's going to be needed. And if people don't get it, we're going to be shut up. Yeah. 100%.
This year alone, we need 501,000 new workers. And to put that in perspective, for every one person that is hired, there are 26 openings in the trades fields. That is insane.
Shit, I might go get a trade skill.
You could get a job so quickly as an apprentice or the entry level, just start learning. We're in such a low supply of trades workers, and it goes back to like builders. Like, this is not an exact stat, but I had heard that for every 50 builders leaving the industry, retiring, whatever, there's only 32 that are going back into the workforce. So we already have that big deficit right there, 28.
And that's huge, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hear what we're telling you, if you're looking for a job, you better go get a trade. I mean, I think
you better go get into the trade.
Yeah, get into the trade. And I think that that's a huge thing because so many people, I feel like it was pushed heavily, like when our parents were in like high school and things of that nature. And I think that even when I was in high school, there was still a little bit left. Like I went to Oakland Technical Educational Campus where you could pick a trade or whatever and you decide from there what you wanted to do. So that was readily available. I don't even know if they still have that stuff now. And I know why. Like, you see why. Like, the numbers, because they're not teaching kids in school or trying, because college isn't for everybody.
No.
A lot of things aren't for everybody. But having a trade and knowing that skill to a T, especially now, this day and age, I mean, you're making just as much as doctors, if not more.
Exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, if not now, in the future, for sure.
100%.
Because AI can only do so much, and it's not going to be able to help figure out where your busted pipe is.
Figure out your rewiring. You might be able to YouTube it, but you probably get an electric unit if you don't know. Yeah. So there's that part.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys look into the trades if you don't know what to do next.
So ultimately, circling back to the real topic at hand, we have all these different variables in the real estate market that are external to the real estate market that are hardcore affecting the real estate market as a whole. We have a major deficit nationally and regionally. We're having a workforce shortage in the trades, that it's all that, and then coupling all that with higher expenses for building costs, permitting, materials, labor force. All that encompassing is creating a increase in home values as to what builders or the home sales resale market is able to net or sell.
Yeah. So guys, you heard it first. All the stats from said licensed builder, you heard it here first. And if you need to reference it, rewind the tape and listen to it. And if you have any questions about building your future home, reach out to Trevor. He is a licensed builder. Comment, say it on the comments, builder or build it or something in regards to build, and Trevor will reach out with you. Make sure you guys leave your email address and all those things that you need to contact. So if you're looking for a realtor, we're here to help assist you. So we want to say thank you for tuning in today. Real Talk Real Estate with Trevor and Britt. See you next week.
Bye, guys.